Good afternoon. Here we are in wonderful Fresno, my parents' backyard. I'm here to rescue another plant that a tree that's been planted incorrectly again, and we're talking the papaya here. This one is a strawberry papaya. It's one of the better tasting variety papayas out there. But if you look at it, from what my mom told me, it was planted just this morning. And if you look at how it's planted, it's not in the best spot. I mean, it's more like a volcano as opposed to a well. All this really shouldn't be here. So we're gonna dig it out, amend the soil, and then put it back in, and hopefully make a full recovery. With papayas, they are sensitive to transplant. So let's just hope that this guy makes it. So the soil that I've got is a mixture that I brought along with me. Normally, I don't add perlite to my mixture. I normally reserve this for container growing trees. But in this case, because it is just strictly native dirt, clay soil, I'm adding perlite into the mixture just to give it some aeration. Papayas are very prone to root rot, so the more air in the soil, the better that these guys would do. And again, unfortunately, this is the tool that I've got to work with. So I'm going to gently try my best to dig it out of the ground. It would be beneficial if I have a much larger shovel, for example, but it is what it is. In fact, let me show you. This was the 2-gallon-ish container that this guy came with. So I'm going to try my best to put it back in the container, amend the soil, and hopefully it should make a full recovery. But it is, right now, it is about 100 degrees. We've got a heat wave that is coming our way, and looks like throughout next Sunday it's going to be like this for a while. So, ooh, that's not good. Yeah, I'm not sure if this guy's going to make it, but we'll see. Yeah, again, this is you really want to plant it right the first time, but it is what it is. So we're gonna dig as much as we can. So papayas in general, they love the heat. It is one of the few trees in the Central Valley that loves the heat. The more heat, the better. Which is why I'm comfortable planting it, in basically middle of summer. So, got it mostly dug. Adding the amendment into it. I should mention, I've also sprinkled some mycorrhizal fungus into the mixture here. As always, mix it into the soil with some native dirt. There's really not a whole lot left on this one in terms of the root ball, but just try my best not to disturb it anymore. There you go. Make it as compact as possible. and hopefully hopefully it's strong enough to make it through, but just from the roots coming apart like that, that's not a good sign. All right, last thing for me to do is mulch it up. Mulching retains water. See this? It says it's garden soil, but it's not. I mean, I wouldn't use this as soil. This is just broken down wood chip. So I use this as more of a mulch. And the way that I'm applying the mulch, it is entirely up to you. But with most of my trees in the summertime, just because it is so hot in Central Valley, I have it right next to the trunk of the tree. But my apologies there. The phone got overheated and died in the middle of a recording. I mean, like I said, it is about 100-ish degrees right now, and it is forecast to be between 105 to 108 in Fresno throughout this week. So with that being the case, you wanna, well, specific to this papaya, in my case, I normally don't shade it, but because this papaya tree has gone through quite a bit of shock already, I did erect this shade cloth. This is a roughly a 50% shade cloth. If you come closer, it's basically an umbrella that as the sun gets above it, shades it nicely. In fact, if you look at some of the leaves here, see the whitening of some of the leaves. I mean, this is sun bleach. This is basically sun damage. So this particular tree would appreciate it greatly with the shade here. So I've already got the well there, got a generous amount of wood chip on top of it, serving as mulch. Hopefully it makes a good comeback, but again, this is a strawberry papaya. This is one of the better tasting varieties. It will want some winter protection, but from my experience, I've yet to lose a papaya to the winter. Again, papayas loves the Central Valley sun. I've never had to shade any of my papaya. I'm just doing it just for this particular one, just because again it's gone through a number of shock already. But I did give instructions in the next 2-3 weeks to go and take out the shade cloth, because at the time the tree should have already gone through its transparent shock and it should be okay. But I wanted to show you some of the trees that we rescued that were also at the time incorrectly planted. Kahala longan. I mean, since correcting the planting of it, I mean, it's looking awesome. In fact, there's some fruits in here. I mean, I normally would have removed the fruits just to give it time to establish for the first year, but seems to be doing okay, so making a good comeback. Same with the Thai guava here. I mean, it's looking phenomenal. I mean, flowers left and right. In fact, there's a fruit here. So yeah, I mean, everything that we've planted, I want to say back in May, seems to be doing phenomenal. Calming Wado, Kefir Lime, Galanga. So anyhow, all right, it is hot. It is about 110 degrees right now. If you take a look at the temperature sensor here, 110 degrees with 26% humidity. So it's very hot and very dry. But there are some trees, tropical trees, that actually need the heat. One of which is going to be the papaya. Papaya trees, you want to protect them somewhat in the cold. There are some varieties that do better than others in terms of cold hardiness. But all papaya trees, from my experience, regardless if they're young or old, can handle the heat, no problem. The leaves may wilt like this just a bit, but as soon as it cools down a bit, it goes back to normal. So the wilting of the leaves, this is typical during 10-degree temperatures. This particular set is a Mexican variety, all grown from seed. The nice thing with papaya, extremely easy to propagate, or germinate from seed, that is. And when you're germinating from seed from a store-bought papaya, you're likely gonna get either a female or hermaphrodite, which are the two fruit-producing varieties or types. So if you look at it, the papaya in the front is a hermaphrodite, where it has both male and female parts. That's how it's able to self-pollinate. Whereas the one right behind it is a female papaya. If you look at how the papaya fruits are formed, the one in front is on a branch, whereas the one right behind, the tree right behind it, the fruit is formed almost directly next to the trunk of the tree. So, and believe it or not, I mean, this set of papaya is reaching about 10 to 11 feet tall now. It is only about 9 months old. I take it back. It is about a year old. I propagated these back in February of last year. So it's a little over a year old. Papayas, when germinating from seed, generally takes about 6 months to a year before it starts producing fruit. So insanely easy to propagate and gives you fruit generally the first year. A few more papayas back here. So here is a papaya that just was planted here just I want to say just last week. This is the strawberry variety, strawberry papaya, commonly known as the sunrise papaya. This is the better tasting variety. More Mexican papaya. I mean, again, if you look at the wilting of the leaves, this is typical. So just leave them alone. This set, along with the two over there, they are the same age, and yet this one is 6 feet tall. So watering papayas make a big difference in terms of growth. I'll take you to the back. Here's the back. This particular papaya is a Hawaiian Solo. The Hawaiian Solo is actually the parent of the sunrise / strawberry papaya. It's a mixture between a Hawaiian Solo and one other Hawaiian variety papaya. But the Hawaiian Solos are a bit more on the cold sensitive side. These guys will die back if you look at it. I mean, it keeps getting knocked down by the winter, but as soon as it warms up, every single year it just explodes in growth. So I mean, if you look at it, I mean, this is the battle scars from the previous winters. First winter, second winter, and it just keeps going up. I wanted to show you how easy they are to propagate. This is my seedling station. Hawaiian Solo papaya, seeds from the Hawaiian Solo papaya. Again, insanely easy to propagate. My plan on this is there are about maybe 24 papayas in there, seedlings. I'm gonna put the whole thing in the ground and then pluck out the ones that are underperforming, while leaving only 3 or 4. So unrelated, but check out jackfruit. I mean, these guys are also insanely easy to propagate. So